gotta pull up my other page.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. If you give us a second, we're going to be putting up our live chat. I thought I had it, but I guess I don't. There we go. Hey, Kim. So I sent out everybody for the panel. So you should have already gotten it. Come in when you can. And we're just going to talk about cinematography and the importance of that. Hey, Jay Santiago. And we're going to be talking about FPV because I know that there's something brewing with both of these different type of drone styles, which is how I look at it. So, Kim, I'm just going to talk to you real quick because you've done both. And I know that because I have your Phantom now. So I know you've done cinematography. And that's when I became a fan of what you did.
Yeah.
Was 2 years ago watching what you were doing. And then now you're out there ripping it up with FPV and acro drones. In fact, ripping it up is true because you've killed quite a few drones in your time. Your short acro.
I appreciate
a few. And so I guess when you were doing cinematography, I noticed that you did it until you did everything you could. What didn't you? I mean, everything that looked like to be a challenge? Or what was your what did you want to do?
Are you asking me why did I change from cinematography drones to...
No, why did you go into cinematography at all?
Well, because I see beautiful places from the ground, and then there was an opportunity for me to...
Hey, Rodney, got your shirt on.
It was an opportunity to see the same beauty from the air, so I invested in a Phantom. Because before that, I was playing with toy grades, and I was just not getting... It wasn't reading... it wasn't getting me excited enough, you know, and it became very boring. So I went into cinematography.
Hey, Novice Quads, I've sent out all the links. So I know that, so you went into cinematography. And I noticed, I mean, I loved watching your stuff. I could have watched you go over your property every day and I would have been happy watching that because of the smoothness of what you did. One thing I didn't do is go back 2 years, 3 years and watch what it looked like when you first started.
It was pretty crappy. The picture quality was terrible. It was 2 megabyte cheap cameras, and I just wanted something more. If I'm going to show this area, I want it to be a clear video. So I sprung for a Phantom. It achieved what I wanted it to do. And I have fun while dancing with her. But now there's a new waltz.
Right. Right.
Well, it's not like I don't like GPS. I do. But now it's something that's a little bit of more of a rush feeling and learning curve. You know what I mean?
So are FPV drones basically for adrenaline junkies? Yeah. I'm just asking.
Well, you'll soon find out when you start throwing FPV. That little pitter patter there is going to, your pulse is going to raise, your, you know, yeah.
Because I guess that's so what would convince a regular drone flyer to try FPV? What makes that jump? I mean, I'm certain it's different for everyone.
Probably a pair of goggles and sit them down.
Hey, plane trucker.
Some smooth moves, not too erratic at first, and smooth moves, and you'll get their attention. I'm sure of it. Because I never thought I would go to change over to FPV, but I wanted
No.
that more of a rush, you know. Flying trucker. Al,
Hey,
LVS, Novice Quads, Rodney Bell, Jay.
because that's what I was thinking, because when I first came into the drone community, we just had basically cinematography drones. That was the emphasis. And now it seems like we're while we still have that, we're kind of doing this metamorphosis. We're kind of moving over to share space with FPV. And there seems to be all these FPVers out there. I think one of the first ones I ever saw was like Quad Farm. And the stuff he did was outstanding. Hey, Mike Roche. And I just thought, wow, I don't think I could do that. But in a lot of ways,
Rolex.
Rolex, it's beautiful.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's no reason why you can't incorporate the two. I tried. You just have to talk to the person that's beside you to make sure that, you know, where you are at all times, and try not to move while he's doing the maneuver. Because he can move a lot faster than you can.
Well, there was someone who, was it Hugo? I can't remember, who was able to blend cinematography with the same drone with the Acro. Do you remember that?
That was quite a while ago. But I've seen so many videos and stuff since then.
Oh, no, me too. Because I
But
thought,
people use race drones to chase gliders and planes and everything. And it's really fascinating.
well, yeah, and I didn't realize that. They have to get a half decent, because the first FPV drone things I saw, the picture was so scattered. Do you know what I'm saying? Lines through it. It wasn't clear vision.
Yeah, but there's actually two cameras on a racer. There's the camera that goes for the goggles for the guy to see, and that's going to usually have snow and telemetry and all this on it. Then you have the other camera that sits on the top, which is a GoPro or some of the similar camera that gives you that clear footage. But there's two cameras.
Okay, so that's why he was able to do both.
Yeah,
Make
he
it
was able
very.
to record both at the same time and stuff. But that first camera in there is for you, the flyer. And that's usually static or something, or it could be really clear. It depends on the setup. Then you got this camera where you see a really clear picture.
Mm-hmm.
You're recording from a GoPro or something on that, you know?
Okay, and that's why the guys like the Sessions, because they're smaller and they fit right on top.
Yeah.
Because it would seem to me, since I've been watching, that there's been such kind of a division between camera drones and FPVs.
There's always been.
But that's the one thing I'm going to tell you I don't understand, because they work together so well.
Yeah, but it's not the same style.
Well, kind of like a watercolor and oil painting, right?
Yeah.
It's not the same.
It's the same hobby, but it's just not
the same hobby.
Style, you know? Like everybody has their different skill set when they're flying and stuff. Okay, we'll check out the panel a little bit. Night Train.
Hey, Night Train.
Mike Roach. How you doing, guys?
It's harder to play FPV than camera drone.
Ed. No, like Ed, he says he likes seeing the noise. He likes seeing the telemetry and the stuff in his goggles, as well as the clear footage. Yeah, that's it. For Clinton Duck, he says 2 different flying styles.
Right, and that part I understand, but they're both beautiful.
Well, that's the beauty of the hobbies. Yeah?
Right. So Would you go back to flying cinematography?
Yeah, it depends. Sure.
Because you're really good at it, Kim.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, this is something that I want to achieve. You know, I want to see if I can do it. I might be 60, but I'm not willing to stop learning and try something new.
I know. Who thought at 60, right? When I was a kid, I was pretty sure it was all over by then. And I'm finding it's just a whole new life.
They still got time.
So I know someone said, who was it? Was it you, Ed, who said they liked the noise? And maybe it was Hallie. I can't remember, but you hear this.
Yeah, because you can. It sounds like music. You can actually tell there's something wrong with your quad by listening to it.
Well, I used to like to hear just the music and not have that sound. But I find that recently I've changed to wanting to hear that part of it.
A little bit inside the music or no music.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that's it. The sound of power. Like when you play back our videos and you hear those guys crazy up and down, you hear how loud it is. You remember how loud it was? And that was a loud. I mean, they were screaming.
Well, I was down at the house with Roger. I think we'd just gotten back from Tim Hortons, and all we heard was bzzz, bzzz, and it was crazy. But yeah. I remember thinking that is a sweet sound. That is a sweet sound. But I didn't think so a couple months ago. Huh?
You could hear the echo going down the end of the valley down here. If you were down at the other end, I'm sure you could hear it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was surprised that great sound effects. Thank you, Port Clinton Duck. I know I got it down. I think I got it down. Hey, Drone Life.
Ed, if you want to come in, Port Clinton Duck, if you want to come in.
Yeah, just make sure I get your emails.
Well, I mean.
So I think that's one of the things that I stopped and I thought, you know, I love camera drones. There's no doubt about it. I want to get good with the Phantom. I want to be able to take pictures of beautiful scenery, the places I see, the things I love, and I do want to do that. So that's half. Hey, Osby Chandy.
Chris. Sorry, Val.
No, you're fine. But the other half of me wants to do the speed. Right? Wants to hear the sound, wants to put that together.
Convinced me is watching these guys' videos. I'm watching how they were flying and the sounds they made. You know, that's what attracted me by everybody's videos I kept hearing. The need for speed.
Hey, it's fine. So yeah, hey Geeksvania. So I think that's oh Philly. Sorry, Philly. I know I told you to come in and get you on here, and then I didn't send you it. Give me a second, Philly. I'll take care of that. Yeah, I think so. I think right now one thing I'm noticing is a lot of companies. I don't want to know what my dog just did. That sounded kind of epic. Evidently, they want the need for sound also. Little pains.
Okay, Rodney Bell. Rodney Bell has to leave.
Oh, I'm sorry, Rodney. Thank you so much for coming in. And thank you for this gorgeous shirt. Every time I see him on everyone else, I think I got to go put mine on. It's very nice.
Ed, I like the way Ed put it.
Yeah.
Love my drones. You can cruise around in a Cadillac or you can scream around in the skies with like a Ferrari.
I'm a bit of a cruiser myself. I am, but I think I want to do a little screeching too. Watching a show on catch up. Hey, Rodney, I just so appreciate it. I was drinking coffee out of the mug today. Or that was yesterday, and I love it too. Mine doesn't leak, so I don't know. Hey, Philly, I sent you the link. So it seems to me recently that every company out there is trying to get on the bandwagon of the FPV drones, right? And we have a lot of we have a lot of ones that I don't think have done very well in what they're building. I mean, I think the guys building them themselves are doing a better job, but I could be wrong. I don't know enough about it to really.
But their style, you know, how it feels to them.
So what do you think about all the companies getting into the FPV world now? None in particular, just...
You're going to give me the shits on this, asking me this question, aren't you?
I am.
My worry is, just for a minute, then we're going to get off the subject because I'm.
Yeah, I don't want to stay there too long because a lot of people talked about it. Go ahead.
Getting involved into the race thing there, one, it's going to be bloody expensive. And two, they could create a gumball effect or snowball effect and more regulations. Yeah.
So why do you think DJI getting into it? Well, see, I think
untapped market.
Huh?
It's an untapped market, and they can only produce so many products before people, they have to diversify.
Well, I think DJI finally realized that the market is going this way, and if they want, and they're not building them, from what I understand, in China. I thought they were thinking about UK or doing them somewhere else, which tells me they're trying to put some division there now.
They realize there's a lot of money involved in what we're doing.
I think there's a great amount of money involved in FPV flying.
You guys come in here and help me out. I feel I'm not really. I can't say I'm qualified in answering some of those questions because, I mean, I'm just a new guy flying an FPV.
Well, and I don't know if I just want to know what your thoughts are on it because I know you feel strongly about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, right, guys? Don't worry about it. Hey, UFO builder, how you doing tonight? Hey, Curtis, there you go. There you go. So Night Train. Okay, it says DJI FPV platform will flop. No way they are going to make one that we can crash regularly. Yeah, see, that's where.
Freaking way you'll get DJI Care out of this. I mean,
Well, you might, but they're going to have to charge a lot to make up. I mean, no place is going to give you something where they lose money. And depending on how much it costs them to build, I think.
What are we talking about? Let me catch up here a little bit.
We're talking about FPV drones.
Oh, okay. And DJI releasing their FPV thing?
Yeah, and we didn't want to stay too long on that because a lot of people have actually talked about it. Looks to me like a Mavic style. Real fragile. Good evening, everyone. Hey, Robert. Yeah,
I like Mark's FPV drones. A couple of them. I hit that ground. And I broke an arm. That's it. You took a motor off, took the ESC off, put a new arm. You try that with something manufactured these days.
And here's what worries me about. Okay, I'll just say one thing about DJI, and then we can switch off of DJI. I got I looked at some of the products they have, even the Osmo Pocket. It takes them forever to come out with stuff to go with it, which makes me wonder how well versed they're going to be in making sure they have the accessories that are needed, the spare parts that are needed, all those things. They don't have the best track record with that, but neither does like GoPro.
They might not go into racers, but they might go into the cinematography area, like Cinewhoops and in that area,
Well, see, that's what I was wondering, because they've come out with these beautiful cameras. Why would they leap so far from that?
Well, that's where that's where my interest is I would love to see the Hasselblad camera on and I actually considered buying a Mavic 2 Pro and just taking the camera off if I didn't have a problem with the app itself. But putting a better camera on an FPV drone and doing cinematography stuff with it, not so much all the flips and I'm sure some loops and stuff like that, but you know, flying 50 feet over the.
Yeah, but it would have to be a smaller unit. I mean,
Right.
why is a Mavic? You're not going to fit this in a forest.
Well, what I'm saying though is, you know, flying 50 to 60 miles an hour over a cornfield super fast, you know, with a really good camera is kind of cool.
That'd be cool.
Sorry
That
about
would
the
be
echo.
cool. No,
As
you're fine.
As far as the quality, I mean, everybody puts out bad quality at one point or another. I don't think they're going to put out a bad quality drone. I think we need to kind of wait before we start guessing about. And I'm not defending DJI. Don't get me wrong. I'm hoping what they put out is really cool.
And there's cinematography, the same kind of camera systems that they use. That would be very nice, where you can sneak through foliage without having to go up there and cut branches and then, you know, smooth and stuff like that.
Yeah,
because
trying to clear the way. Well, see, that's what I wondered, because what we're talking about tonight, Curtis and Novice, is camera drones or cinematography drones as opposed to FPV. What makes one person go into one or the other? How they can marry up a little bit more.
I could answer that.
Yeah.
I could answer that simple.
Well, don't answer it simple. I got 2 flipping hours. By God, Lawrence, and no one sent
Hey,
you.
what's up, Genoa County? I have been flying camera drones for 3.5 years plus.
Yes, you have.
And I was introduced to FPV through YouTube. And to make a long story short, you get tired of flying in a freaking straight line. You know? And to be honest, since they've introduced Sin Whoops, and I've got this 3-inch Sin Whoop here, it's the best of both worlds.
Can you show us?
You have camera drone quality, and this is just a 3-inch. You have camera drone quality, and I can do flips and everything I want with it. It's a GEP RC Signet 3-inch. It has an XM Plus receiver on it, and it shoots 1080p at 60 frames per second.
Like Diaz says, AccuSync Cinewhoop long range 4K. Ooh.
Well, that's what I'm not building a Cinewhoop, but I'm building a long range bird. But now that I know they have the boards for 4K, I'm thinking about putting a 4K camera in it. Wow. Because now you can record. Before you were limited through Fat Shark to record your FPV flight in the goggles. Now, if it's 640 by 480 resolution, we all know that sucks. So now that they're putting a DVR on the actual drone, you don't need to record from your goggles anymore. You have the live feed coming from the bird itself.
Yeah. We have some here. D1, how you doing, D1 Gray? Yeah.
I love seeing D1.
You try D1. I'm hooked, man. That's why Val got my Phantom there. I want to take a break, and I wanted something that's going to get the pulse racing.
See, I just wanted to interrupt for a second. We had fun with Philly Drone Life, and I know he calls Billy Kyle his boy, so I would never show him that I just got this text from Billy Kyle saying, check out this video. Okay, because that would break his heart. Right now, he made new friends today. I want to keep him happy. We share videos back and forth. I'm trying to get Billy Kyle, believe it or not, he's slowly showing some interest in racing drones. That's why I brought it up. So we've been sending videos back and forth. I've been sending him Sin Whoop videos, and he's been sending me videos, you know, check out this guy's camera work and stuff like that.
That's why I want Val. The next time she comes up, me and Mark's going to fix it so she can practice flying.
Central, I sent you a link, honey. Come on in.
And she'll see the thrill difference. You know what I mean?
Thank you, D1.
Yes, definitely.
You know what? I'm right now excited when I put the Phantom up, and I'm so worried about doing something wrong. And
Listen,
so
go
that's
through-
part of what's happening with
If
me.
you go through a pre-flight check, you can't go wrong. Plain and simple. Come up with a pre-flight valve that checks your props, your motors, your settings, your Wi-Fi, everything. And if you go through that pre-flight every time before you take off, you'll relax a little easier. You'll fly a lot smoother.
Where's the pre-flight check?
But a pre-flight check is saying, okay, you do it on any drone. I have this drone. First, I have to make sure it connects to the radio. Once it connects to the radio, second is to make sure it has enough. This doesn't have GPS, but some of them do. Make sure that it has enough satellites before you take off.
Hi, Paul.
Make sure your Wi-Fi network is connected. Make sure all your props are on tight. It's just a pre-flight checklist, exactly what it says.
Run
You
your
make
fingers,
sure
run your
that-
fingers along the props, make sure they're not cracked.
Yes, because a micro fracture could shatter in the air with the high revolutions, RPMs that the props give off. So just food for thought, but come up with a pre-flight check valve and you'll be okay. Everything that Kim showed you as far as taking off, that's a pre-flight check. Make sure your
Okay.
Wi-Fi is connected.
Okay, just for a second, did you see the last video Roger put on?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Where you see Val's hovering and then all of a sudden she takes off, and I'm thinking, there's a bunch of wires there, right?
I did see that.
And when Roger turns the drone, you see the Phantom just leaving.
Okay, Ed.
It looked like a flyaway, man. I was sitting there, my legs. Oh, are you kidding me, man? I had to look at the
I wanted to get over to them. It was so cool seeing all the drones in the air.
I had to look down at the screen to make sure it wasn't a flyaway, man, because it really looked like a flyaway. It was just like,
Well,
you know?
see, if you're going to teach someone how to fly, Kim, rule number one is you tell them if they push the throttle to full throttle, you're going to break their thumb. Right? And then
Yeah,
yeah,
No.
and like, you know,
No. What?
what happened, Val?
No breaking my thumbs.
kind of
Well,
freaked
see,
her
you have
out.
to treat new flyers like that. You have to have them believe if you go to full throttle before you're ready to go to full throttle, either you're going to lose your drone or I'm going to break your thumbs. What's up, Mark?
Okay, I'm gonna check out that checklist. I just want to watch Corey Mann's new video. Did he do a new one? More than what the other one he did? Because I can't wait to watch that.
He
So,
probably did. I'm going to check it out.
hey,
Definitely.
Centroid.
Hey, Mark. And Mark went after him with the Mavic just to see if she was going to crash or not. Did you see Val and Roger's last video take off?
Yep.
It looked like a flyaway. Shoo!
I had a hard time keeping up with her with the
Hey,
other.
Robert,
Mark,
I did send you a link.
Your
Low,
your
Mark.
your microphone's real low, Mark.
Your volume's low. Yes.
Is that better?
No.
Say something.
Something.
Very low. It doesn't
Not
sound like it's
plugged
plugged in.
That sounds better.
Now it's plugged in.
Now talk. No.
No, the light isn't on your headset. Let me see. Turn to the side.
The lights aren't on. Oh yeah, it is.
Now it should be reset.
Hey, how's that?
No.
No.
No, sounds like it sounds coming from your webcam.
Maybe
When you reached
unplug
over
and plug back in.
wiggled the plug, we heard a click.
We heard a snap, right?
Hey, Nomadic Bike, how you doing, darling?
What's up, Nomadic Bike? So
Hit
Kim,
your computer connection. Wiggle that connection, Mark.
so Kim, now that Val is back in the States, you can let your hair down. How was it?
Her being here,
Yeah.
it was so much fun. It starts from 7 a.m. when she gets her stinking bacon, which is Canadian bacon. And I heard your comment on his channel. Canadian.
Hey, Mark, give us a test.
I don't think it's working too well. I don't
No,
know.
it's not.
No, sir.
And it's joke after joke and fun from 7 to midnight 1.
Well, I must say, for Val's first time flying a Phantom, she did kind of scare me for a second.
Huh?
I saw you standing there next to her, so I knew she couldn't run into you because she wouldn't run into herself. You know, so you were in the safest spot on that
Carpenter.
entire field.
Yeah.
Everyone else was at high risk factor.
We're getting scratchy out of it, Mark.
Okay, so here's the thing. It sounds like it wants to work because every time you touch the mic, we can hear it pretty
I hear
clear.
a pop. Yes.
We're just
Hear a
not
pop.
hearing your voice. Now I'm hearing nothing at all. So let me go and see if you're not muted.
Oh, he went out. He's gonna come back in.
He's gonna
Yeah.
restart. Hey, what's up, Carpenter Rick, Arthur Moorhead,
Hey, Carpenter,
D1.
Hey, Arthur Moorhead, how you doing?
UFO scientist builder.
So, do you think that I'm just asking you guys, do you think most people who do cinematic drones at one time or another are going to do some FPV work?
No,
No.
no, because it takes a mental state of mind to fly FPV.
Apples and oranges.
Yeah, it is. It's completely. I agree with Paul. Like Paul could put on a pair of goggles. He mentioned it, and he said he'll pass out.
I'll fall over.
Somebody I know someone who put on a pair of goggles, and you've seen these commercials, and you've seen on YouTube. They give this 80-year-old man a pair of goggles, and they put him in a haunted house VR, and scare the hell out of him. You know, some people can't handle that adrenaline rush.
Right.
You know, and it took me a while
Destination.
to get used to the rush of flying FPV, because every time I took off, I had to talk myself into, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it, etc. And each time that I went up with a new battery, I had to calm myself down because the adrenaline, just wanting, Kim knows.
Yeah, sensory input. A lot of flow coming in. It's like too much at a time.
Yeah.
So
It is.
why would that doesn't sound like fun?
Okay,
No, it's not.
why do people get on roller coasters when they're scared of them? For the
I don't.
rush.
That's
For
it.
the rush.
Yeah.
I would get on any metal roller coaster in the world, but I don't like wooden roller coasters. Wooden roller coaster will make me have a heart attack. You know why? Because the wood stretches and bends when you on a wood
You hear
roller
that
coaster.
creaking and everything. Yep.
When you're on a steel coaster, the only thing that's moving is that car. Okay. Now you can die just as fast in a steel coaster, but wooden roller coaster. We have a world famous roller coaster here in Brooklyn, the Cyclone. Okay. And from my childhood, I've gotten on that thing, and every freaking time I've got on it, I say, this time I'm going to die.
Oh my God.
What's up, Mike?
And yet you're sitting in it.
Right. And yet I get on the heifer anytime someone, let's go. Now, a metal roller coaster, I will get on that repeatedly over and over and over again. It's just personal preference.
Pneumatic.
What's up, Philly?
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, just so that you know, I'm going to be eating, and I don't want you to think I'm eating a candy bar. This is an Atkins happy feel like you're in heaven bar, but it's Atkins.
It's a candy bar with an Atkins wrapper.
Basically.
How's that now, guys?
That's
Oh, that's really good. What was wrong?
I have no idea. I just went into Skype and OBS just to see if I could check the settings, see if the bar was running. It was working fine when I went into there, so I didn't do anything, to be honest.
Okay, off of FPV really quickly. I got home and there wasn't hardly anything to eat here. So I went to Costco today and I'm like, okay, I need bacon. Eggs. Yeah, bacon.
But Val, I'm not there to make the bacon for you, so you're on your own.
I'm doing it in the oven. I usually do in the oven too. But yes, you're not here and I miss you, Mark. I miss you desperately.
Oh man.
Bacon. I'm gonna have to do it.
You want to know what? I used to work in a blimp. You remember Blimpies?
Yep.
Well, in Harlem, I worked in a Blimpies pizzeria. And in the morning, we served breakfast. So, you know, we'd serve an egg on a roll with bacon. And every morning, we would take the large cookie sheets and cut on the pizza ovens and make our bacon that way.
Yeah.
And it was so much better than in a freaking pan.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm just going to give you quick how I do it. I turn my oven on to 420, right? I lay all the bacon out, shove it in the oven before the temperature's up. I mean, maybe at 100 by the time I'm throwing the bacon in. Put the timer on for 20 minutes. Perfection every time.
Let me give you
Nice
a word
and
of
crisp.
advice.
Hold on, Val.
Come on.
You're bypassing part of the story. You went to Costco and you bought a bunch of stuff. Did you buy the really big glass jar of pickles?
No.
Oh, we're not on the pickle thing, are we?
No, I was just asking if she bought pickles. That's all I was doing.
Yeah, he's like,
Would pickles be keto?
yes, depending.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Not the sweet pickles. It would have to be the dill pickles, right?
Like the ones you get at Chick-fil-A.
Thank you, D1. I love our flights too.
Because sweet pickles would be full of sugar.
Yeah, I have to get the ones with Splenda.
Yes, I have Splenda pickles. You can't eat that are sweet.
Saved.
They're
Hey.
called Splenda pickles.
Hey,
They're not really tough.
destination, I'm saying yes. By the time your bacon's out, you've showered, you're ready, starting for the day, you grab your bacon, out the door you go. Bacon flying.
Now, did I miss the FPV talk? I came into cooking bacon. Is this a cooking show or a drone show?
Eating rice cakes and you're all talking about food.
This is Val's
Yes.
life. And you know how that goes, Mark? It goes like this. Val's life, like this.
So
Like-
It starts there.
what
and
we
then-
were
then it kinda
talking
goes
about,
over to the
hey,
urban
Adam
dictionary.
Ackerman, what we were talking about, let me go ahead. Yeah, I know,
Said I'm
right?
eating rice cakes. I used to love rice cakes, dude.
Right.
Don't put my rice cakes down. They saved
So
my life.
we were talking about the fact, because I think about the two different flying styles we have going on here. There's a few different ones, but we have the cinematic drones, and then we have the acro drones, the race drones. There's a few different levels within the FPV drones.
Right.
But it seems like you're either in one or you're definitely in the other. And while I see some people bridging that gap,
Yeah.
it's like once you go into FPV, you stick there. And I'm just asking why, because I've seen some of the most beautiful flights within the cinematic drones. Ludo Lu, the stuff he did with Africa and the housing and all that. Most gorgeous flight I think I've seen. I've seen John Coopy fly out within the snow in the winter. Gorgeous, just like it's Christmas around the corner. And so I've seen flights that I don't think that are in my mind that I won't ever forget. So what has you at that point, and then now you're flying acro? So that's what we were talking about, Mark.
Okay. Am I allowed to weigh in on this, or are you done with it?
No, yes, of course you are, my dear.
Okay.
Go
Well,
ahead.
I mean, it was so good to get back into the cinematic drones this past weekend. The difference I have is, and no disrespect to my my fellow cinematic drone flyers, my issue was there's so many areas you can go and capture on video for that kind of storytelling. And my issue was, I started just having to search for different places, because when you go, you can only video those areas so many times before it did the same thing. Now, I got to admit, when I started watching FPV videos, I thought it was always the same thing over and over again too. But as getting into FPV, I go to the same places because, again, there's so many different places, only so many places you go to fly. But you can try different things, and it's about trying to get better, trying new things. So for me, every flight is different when I fly FPV. When I go with my cinematic drones, like I've done 9 Mile Creek 3 times. I haven't gotten it yet in the fall. I'll go do it, and then I'm done with that place. I can only go there so much with the Mavic 2 Zoom. So I'm looking. So for me, I get a little stuck in a corner, painted in a corner, because I've already done those places. With FPV, it always seems like a different flight every time, So that's how I see it. Now, I'm not saying it's the way everybody else sees it, but I haven't given up on my video drones. The biggest joke is once you go FPV, you never go back. I see why people don't, because it's exciting. It's really, really exciting, adrenaline pumping, and I can see why people don't go back. I have no intention of giving up my photo drones, like this past weekend, it was all new territory. I had a blast flying my Typhoon and my Mavic 2 Zoom.
Oh, that was so fun.
So
but now, Paul, you fly the same area with your cinematic drones every day, multiple times a day.
Mm-hmm.
So what keeps you
Different subject.
going out there?
Because every time I fly, it's not the same. Because the ships are different, the weather's different, the lighting is different, the time of day is different. There's different people, things you see along the shore. There's different other boats in the water. The water changes colors, as we all know. There's a lot of things that do change if you're into cinematic, and I see all that. You know, I've got 970 ship videos on YouTube, and people will go back and they'll look at them and they'll comment, well, gee, we saw that ship, but it looks different. Yes, it's the time of day, it's the light of day, it's if it's just at sunset where it's hitting the ship differently, or if it's high noon, it's a different, or if it's the first thing in the morning, it's a different light, different lighting. Is you can't.
And I'd like to elaborate. I'd like to elaborate on that as well. What Paul said. I agree with Central 100% what he said. And I have a different perspective, and he's pretty much he's dead on. But like what Paul said, what I do, I'm kind of a mixture of what Centroid said and what Paul said. And when I fly my camera drone, Val, what I tend to do is fly every flight I fly differently. So not only, yes, the lighting's different and all that other stuff is different and the angles are different, but I take different routes. I do split S's, not split S's. I kind of zoom back and forth. I use my altitude, come up and down. So and that was taught to me from FPV flying. I enjoyed the FPV so much that when I got done FPVing, I said, oh, wouldn't it be cool if I can kind of take some of that to the camera? And so what I did was, obviously drones only go up and down, but I learned that if you play with the camera, you can kind of make it look like you're going up and down and diving like a plane. And I know I'm going to weave before I get to the boat and then blast up and over it. And so I kind of make up little flights like that when I do my camera stuff. But like Centroid, I am in no way giving up FPV flying either. And the reason I stopped simply is just because of the work. And I just wanted a little break. It is a lot of work, batteries, charging, and you got to fix this and fix that. And it is a love. And you asked, why do people not go back? Because it really does take a hold of you. When you get FPV in your brains, in your veins, it's the whole thing. Yeah, it's the building, the freaking view, the rush, it's the whole thing, and you can't stop. And
I mean, Paul's lucky. He's got a particular subject matter he sinks his teeth into. I'm very selfish when it comes to flying drones. I want to have fun and try to create at the same time. I wouldn't call myself a creator at this point, but I try what I can. So when I'm flying a drone right now, if my knees aren't shaking, then I haven't gotten what I wanted to get out of it. It's exciting. And so when it comes to just piloting something, you get more of a rush doing FPV. When it comes to flying a photo drone, I don't find myself a pilot. I find myself a photographer, and I don't get as much enjoyment out of that. So it depends on what you're going for.
I see what you're saying. Saying.
There's also a rush flying a building and a down.
Well, you get that. We can't get that. So I envy you.
They don't have to.
Let me add one more thing that Philly didn't say about his flights, and he may not even realize this, but part of the fun for me watching Philly is the different routes that he takes just to get to William Penn.
Right.
Oh yeah.
It seems like every time he does it, I'm like, okay, he's over there, but he's going from a different direction, and I'm watching his journey. It's all about telling a story, and that's I'm assuming you plan this.
I do plan it.
But there's a different route every time, and I'm seeing, we're still going to William Penn, and I know we're going there, but there's a different route that he's going, and I'm seeing different things along the way. He's telling the story. Yeah.
The rush, guys, is that drone is $2,000, and it's like, oh my God, it's not a $200. It's, oh my God, I better be careful. And so for me, I kind of do get that, and your Mark is right. Not everybody gets to fly the buildings and the statues, so I am blessed being in the city. And at the same time, I'm cursed. So it's just a, you know, because the signal and the people and all that. So it's a fine thing.
It's personal. It's all personal. It's all personal.
Yeah,
So I can tell you what my plan is, and you guys can get what you want out of it and tell me it's a bunch of poop or whatever. But to me, there has to be a story involved there. And much like what Centroid said, where I'm down at the port and I'm looking at a crane and I'm going, okay, so today it's operating, tomorrow it's not operating. The story is pretty much over with at that point. I've already told that story. So what I plan on doing now is utilizing my camera drones to document what I do with my FPV drones. So for instance, let's just say there's a small walkover bridge, like an Oriental bridge or something. And I'm only saying that because I know where one is. I'm going to stick my Mavic above that bridge and videotape my acro drone flying under that bridge and doing a loop. And then I'm going to cut to the footage of it flying under the bridge. And then I'm going to cut to the footage of it flying by the Mavic. So I'm going to document everything that I do. The story is going to be about the FPV drone in that location. So now I can go back to locations I've filmed at before. And even though I'm in that location, it's not about the location. It's about that FPV drone. That's where the story is.
See, Curtis has beat me to punch because I did a little bit of that with the building dive, and I want to do that myself, but I don't have anybody here. I mean, I don't have the nerve to put the Mavic up and then go fly my FPV because now I'm technically not monitoring one of the drones. I don't have.
Right.
I guess I could enlist Paul Lewis P. Floyd to help me out with that, or I just do that with his drones because I want to capture the FPV drone in flight. I don't want to just take an aerial shot of where I'm going to fly and then fly it. I want to see the darn thing flying in camera.
Green patches. Hey,
I'm lucky enough that I've got a friend of mine that's up here that is he's more FPV. He does camera drones as well. He's more FPV than camera drone, and we've both talked about this. And what we're going to do is we're going to go out and create this content. And in addition to that, we're both going to do our own vlog while we're there together. Mm-hmm. He'll get up and say what he's going to do, and I'll do, and then we're just going to give each other's footage and go back and edit it how we want to edit.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So essentially you're going to get still two different videos, even though we both have the same footage. So I think that's kind of interesting. The problem we're running into now is trying to figure out schedules, and his schedule is going to be changing up here pretty soon to where he can be off on the weekends, and it's going to work out just fine. But the key to all of this is having a storyline. If you watch somebody like Bot Grinder, who gets up and he's fun to watch, you know, we're going to fly over here, and then we're going to go over there, and then I did this over there, and then I did this, and then he flies, and then afterwards he comes back, he goes, I crashed, and he says something cute and funny, but there's a story there, and that's what we are sadly lacking in the camera drone community is the storyline.
I agree with you, Kurt.
So real quick, and Novice, I'll go straight to you. I just want to say hi to people in the chat. Destination Chronicles, my girl, is always with me. Thank you. We have Green Patches came in. D1 Gray. I'm always excited to see D1.
Yeah, long time no see.
A very great FPV flyer. We have Michael McReynolds, who does FPV also in camera. And let's see, who else do we have?
Love my drone, Ed, the flying lunatic.
Flying lunatic. That's
he is a flying lunatic. But
You gotta love them names.
We have Corey Mano, FPV flyer extraordinaire. Adam Ackerman, who is fairly new to us, but not new to drones, of course. Let's see. Night Train.
Corey Mano is something else.
Was flying with Plummet, and those are two very good flyers. We have Canadian Drone Hub. Let's see, Roger. And I know Juneau County flyer was in here. And on the panel, we have Curtis Dart. We also have Kim, Furball Kim, FPV. Novice Quads, we call him Lawrence. Paul Murray, the ship doctor, because he flies the ships. We have Philly Drone Knife, also known as Bobo the Clown. We have Phantom Flight, 101 Herman, and Centroid Mark. So
that was not a proper introduction though for Paul. Paul is the Ed McMahon of live YouTube shows. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Paul Murray. And the red curtain parts and he walks out.
Thank you for that kind introduction. Especially, it's very heartfelt coming from the one and only Curtis Dart, the man, the legend, the know-all, see-all, be-all, the wizard of Zoom, Curtis Dart.
Rumble, Curtis Dart.
If I were as quick as Pusa right now, I'd have all kinds of pictures up for each one of you guys, but it ain't happening.
Yeah, so Herman, first novice. I promise to go back.
Novice, yep.
No, I was just going to agree with Curtis about what he had planned on doing with his friend as far as a collaboration, because I'm actually trying to incorporate CineWhoop video I will be incorporating CineWhoop video with my camera drone video. And a lot of people are saying, well, why, if you fly a camera drone, would you be interested in CineWhoop? And for the simple reason is I can fly that drone indoors at 2 or 3 miles per hour around a subject. Whereas if you do it with your Phantom, you can do the same thing with your Phantom, but it's going to be a lot louder and a lot more distracting to customers. If I find the video, I'll put the link. I'll put the link, but there's a very nicely done video with the CineWhoop by this Japanese band. And the entire video is shot with this one CineWhoop, except for the beginning and the end, which was shot with a camera drone.
Mm-hmm. And
so to be able to combine both is a plus.
I agree, and I definitely think everybody should check out that Team Black Sheep video of the protests in Hong Kong. That was captured with
I have that bookmarked.
Yeah, that was captured with a FPV acro drone, and again, it adds a totally different flavor to telling a story. There's no doubt about it.
It does.
It's definitely a more emotional, dramatic than
and they did the right thing, by the way. They didn't spend a lot of time making it about the drone and the technique of flying the drone and the tricks. They made it about capturing what was going on there and the volume of it.
They told a very good story, because you could no way in the world know how many people were there unless you saw that FPV flight, just to have a clue.
And if you were to put a Mavic 2 Zoom or something like that, trying to capture that, I can tell you right now, a rubber bullet would have taken it right out of the sky.
Yeah, exactly.
well, not only that, even if you think about from a perspective of let's get on top of a skyscraper and film this massive crowd, it still doesn't give you a sense of how big it is until you dive down into that crowd. And that's what they did. They went into the crowd with the drone. I mean, not right on top, but down so you could see faces, and then
close.
And then came up and went over, and then went high and looked at it, and they did do a couple dives and stuff.
And we're talking about Hong Kong, yeah,
right. But you get that dynamic of close and far away all within one video, and then you go, wow, this is really, really huge. It's not just a static camera sitting on top of a skyscraper filming 6 blocks or 7 blocks of a million or 2 million people, or it's not just one guy down on the ground filming something. You're getting all that in one shot in about 3 minutes.
Val, do I have your permission to post that link in case anybody wants to see it?
If you want it.
Absolutely.
If you want it, I have it right here.
It's already
I saw that video, and I will tell you, I think the drone he used was the right drone for that particular circumstance. I do also think that it could have been dangerous had it decided to do sometimes.
I think there's some documentation that they didn't use like a 5-inch. They used something a little smaller, which of course they could still hurt somebody. But that was an argument. They were going after the person for being dangerous for flying over the crowd.
Yeah.
You have to take it into context. These guys, they had tear gas. The last thing these people were worried about was getting hit by a 3-inch whoop.
Next mixer. Well,
it's true.
Hey, Roxy. And so let me ask everyone. Just on the panel, you don't have to answer. You can pass. If you have your choice between cinema and FPV, what are you most likely to fly over the next couple months? So let's see hands for FPV.
Hands down. For me.
Right. And for cinematic?
For both?
You only get to pick one.
If you can only pick one, I'd have to say cinematic then. But you're forcing my hand there.
But yeah,
I
that's
am.
not a fair
Twist.
choice though, because I can
Twisting.
pick both.
Exactly.
No, I said one or the
Oh,
other.
Here's the only reason why I said FPV is because you can actually achieve the cinematic look with an FPV if you know
Yes.
how to pilot
Yes.
correctly.
This is
You
true.
can't-
Yes,
and it's
I
a
think
lot-
That's why I picked FPV. Not because I
And-
never want to do cinematic, but because it's more versatile. in
Okay,
that
and so
respect.
there's a reason. There's a reason I asked.
But Val,
Because I
it's
kind of
also
wanted
a
to
lot-
see what excuses people were going to give to why they did what they did or said what they said.
The reason I would pick the cinematic drone is because I love to fly, and a cinematic drone you get 20 some odd minutes, 27 minutes. I
Good
love to
point.
be in the air. My life is in the air. I love having that perspective.
Also,
And so
the difference.
You can only
Val,
bring
the
one
difference-
drone. That's the one I'm bringing.
Good point.
Hold on. The difference between flying FPV and a camera drone is today we were flying with Philly Drone Life and Billy Kyle. Okay, for an example, somebody says something to me, I can take my hands off the control and just hover there. With a camera drone, you cannot do that with a racing drone.
No.
Hands off the control, you're going to wipe. And it takes a lot more concentration also to fly a racing drone.
I'll be right back, guys. My wife just showed up. I gotta say
Because
hi.
Say hi from us too.
You have to know your ups and downs, your left and right really, really well. And you have to have that confidence. The same way you get in your car and drive your car confidently down the street, you have to put on those goggles and fly that drone confidently as well.
Well, I think the one thing I think about camera drones and FPV is there's a state of mindfulness you have to have with a FPV. You have to have it. You have to be in the moment in the very second.
Technically,
That's
camera
the
drone,
exact
you are
reason why
flying
they picked
FPV. Technically,
Right.
you are.
I hear what you're saying, but you know which one I mean, right? Like acro. If you're doing acro, you have to be second by second within that moment.
Well,
Camera drone, I can be who I am, which is very distractible and probably not kill someone.
Well, and I agree with that. And Mark is a little bit of disagreement with what Mark said about that you can fly FPV and get full cinematic, because the professional cinematographers will never fly FPV because they've got
Not
to
yet.
adjust cameras
Not yet.
and
Not
adjust
yet.
all the
No,
different.
I'm not saying you're going to get as good as, let's say, an Inspire,
Well, yeah,
but
you can get an acceptable.
You-
Yeah,
you-
I agree.
these drones can be put in stable mode. You don't have to fly, what they call
Right now, Paul, they
Right.
have a 4K camera out that has
Oh,
a
yeah.
cleaner picture than the average television.
Yeah, I understand that, but what I'm saying is when you're doing what I do, I could never see myself doing an FPV simply because I have to have the stability of a cinematic drone, because I'm concentrating on framing and I'm not concentrating as much on flying as framing, getting the right angle on the gimbal and all of those kinds of things on the shot while I'm side sliding around the freighters. But that's just me.
Yeah.
You know, maybe somebody younger can probably do it, but
I wasn't trying to say that it would
Great.
be as good as a cinematic drone, but you could overlap a little bit better.
oh
I don't
sure.
know, unless somebody can take an Inspire and do a barrel roll. I don't know.
Yeah.
So if you
So-
want the best, some of both worlds, you might be able to do it with FPV. But again, that's just if I had to choose.
Yeah.
I still like
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, I still love my Mavic 2
Yeah.
Zoom.
And I understand where you're coming from, Mark. You're enjoying both worlds.
Mhm.
At my age and
Very
stage
good at both.
and what I fly is, I never see me ever doing it.
But let's be honest, Val just gave us a loaded question. That's what she did.
Oh yeah, she.
Yeah.
and happily so, because I love the fact, guys, that
Stirs up all this. Yeah.
I like stirring it up because our community is such a solid and wonderful community. Alexa, more coffee, please.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
Yeah, you'll be sure in a minute. I can hear you. So I think that, we have this feeling that it's always one or the other, but I think these two mediums, right? They complement each other so well. There was nothing better than watching people fly acro and then having the Phantom or having the Zoom or having the Typhoon in the air and cinematically capturing what we could capture. There was nothing better than going up on the hill and watching acro, but then coming down. And when we did those shots of the people and the ones we love and that were there, to have that. I really think I really saw how they so blend together, and right, and how the flyers themselves blend them together. That's what was exciting for me, because I was thinking, I kind of was falsely thinking that you were one or you were absolutely the other. And the truth is that's not totally true. The adrenaline rush is coming with the FPV, but and I get all that. Kim, were you going to say something?
Both of them. Everybody has
Both of
their
them.
own.
Both of them, you get you get it. Both of them, the camera drone. I'm gonna tell you, my very first GPS drone, I took that thing above 100 feet and 300 feet out, and broke out in a cold sweat.
My hands were shaking on the Phantom, and I've flown the Breeze, but my thumbs were shaking. I mean,
You know what
maybe
that
it doesn't take
attributes
much
to?
to thrill me, but I was thrilled.
You want to know what that attributes to? 9 out of 10 people that learn how to fly a camera drone, once they have it in the air and they're trying to maneuver, they forget the most important thing with flying a drone and doing anything in life is to breathe.
Yeah.
I've flown with someone that started turning red because he had never took his drone out past 100 feet. And I had him at 2,600 feet out, and he was about to pass out because he stopped breathing.
Well,
the two things you tell a new drone pilot flying a camera drone is altitude is your friend and breathe.
Yeah.
Breathe.
Well, I did think the Phantom was up a couple 100 feet. It was only up 43 feet. And then Kim's going, okay, now let's take it up higher. And I'm just like, oh no.
But that's the same.
I think that's high enough. I don't want it to hurt itself.
Curtis, that's the same. The number 2 of what you said is true when you have Michael Philly Drone Life meeting Billy Kyle for the first time. Just breathe, Michael. Just breathe. Just take it.
Well, yeah,
so I take guys out and teach them to fly all the time when they get their new drone. And I tell them, the things you should and shouldn't do. And just because you can doesn't mean you can't, you should, and all that stuff. But the very first 2 things I tell them is once you get up in the air, remember to breathe, just pause, and altitude is your friend. Everybody wants to, because they're afraid it's going to get away from them. And it's not going to happen. In the old days, yes. Now, no, it's not going to get away from you. Most mistakes happen when you're, 20, 30, 40 feet in the air and you crash into a tree. Get above everything. Get above it and then learn to maneuver. Altitude is your friend. It gives you time to recover. It gives you time to learn how to use the drone.
That's absolutely true, because I haven't lost a prop or anything like that since I started, I got from the P3, I got into the 4. I haven't lost anything because I have more confidence in what I'm doing. And I know most of the problems are occurring when you are flying down around where everything is. There's nothing to run into at 150 feet.
Right.
I mean, there is stuff to run into, but it's so damn big that if you run into it, you're a fool.
So DeJuan Gray says, thank you. That he that's his experience as well. No, you're not going to, I mean, yes, you need to worry about a plane, but the fear is that it's going to get away from you. You're new to this and you're not confident in the equipment just yet. And that's where you go around to YouTube and you see everybody flying confidently and you go, okay, this doesn't look like it's a problem. Now, yeah, when the first original Phantom came out, there were stories of Phantoms flying away, and apparently they did. It didn't happen to me, but I heard about it all the time. So I was worried about it. I didn't want to get it up in the air. But now with OcuSync and OcuSync 2 and everything else they got going on, you're not going to lose your drone. Get it up in the air. Get it out of the way of obstacles.
True for the Phantom 3 also?
Yes, you're good to go on the Phantom 3.
Okay, because my feeling was when I'm flying and I go up that high, I mean, I've heard the horror stories. Oh,
let me make a caveat there. I'm sorry. You need to do your pre-flight checks.
Yeah.
You need to check and make sure your props are on and stuff like that before you get up in the air. I wanted to assume that's a given when I made that statement, and I
did assume that.
Okay, so yes, do your pre-flight checks and then get up in the air. Don't hover and try to learn how to maneuver or orbit at 40 feet. Get up in the air and do it up in the air.
Yeah, and I think they say like 95% of all accidents are happen under 100 feet. They're all low. They're all low down. I'll tell you, Billy. Speaking of Billy took a $4,000 drone today, and zipped away from us at about 45 feet, right over some freaking wires, and about 10 feet right over a building, and said, "Hey, watch this shot. I'm going to come up over this freaking boat." And I just was amazed that he was taking the chances he was taking with an Inspired, and his phone that he was looking it on. And this is where, guys, this is all about age. This is all about having 21-year-old eyeballs, because he looked down at his phone that was basically pitch dark. It was an iPhone. He's like, and I'm like, how do you see? Oh, I could say it. It was black. I saw black. And he managed to get this shot. And then he says, "Here, you fly it." And I immediately went to 250 immediately, and did the whole flight by line of sight. I didn't even want to look at the phone because I couldn't see it. So, amazing. But
still here, guys. I just caught a cramp.
Oh, you're fine. And that's one of the things I think about the FPV goggles, because you're actually seeing that flight. There's no way to get away from what you're seeing. You're seeing the flight.
It's awesome. And that's such an advantage of you got to see. I mean, guys, you got to see. It's like flying a plane. It's being a bird without eyes, a blind bird. How do you see? And you can't fly by, you're not a bat. You can't fly by echo sound.
Sonar.
You need to see. And that's my biggest thing. As long as you give me something I could see with, I can fly. So.
I'll take Michael for the block.
Right.
We get the Hollywood squares going on.
Because I do think that it's fascinating to watch the two different ways of flight. I think it's very fascinating. I think people who can be focused and who can pay attention.
Yes.
FPV is a thrill. Watching FPV, I mean, watching Corey Mano, not Mark, you were great. And of course, Kim.
Go for it. He was amazing.
But watching Corey Mano fly was heart-stopping.
Hey, Val.
Heart-stopping.
Hey, Val.
Yeah.
I think you're the kind of person that would have to stick with camera drones because you get distracted too easily.
She has many squirrel moments. This is true.
Can see you do a power loop and go, "Oh, look at those flowers." Bang.
That could happen. I do have a little touch of what doesn't focus.
A touch of squirrel.
Yeah, it runs in my family.
That could be bad, even flying anything.
Yeah, and to throw it out there, guys. As far as that, I'm going to throw a wrench in things. I have seen FPV drones, 7-inch drones, 6.5, 6 to 7-inch drones, fly cinematically, and the videos were phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
You just got to be a really good pilot, though. It really comes down to that.
And
believe it or not, guys, there's a style of FPV flying out there that's called slow flow.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm familiar with.
What is that?
It's more straight line stuff. It doesn't change the focus of the subject as quick. Like if you're flying up the side of or down a mountain, you keep the focus forward, as opposed to you're halfway down the mountain and flip around and go backwards and throw everybody's.
As Centroid would describe it, you're not flying, flip, fly, flip, flip,
That's
flip,
Curtis.
That's Curtis. Okay.
Yeah, you don't do all the flips and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, you fly it to capture the story, and you bank it. You do what you think you need to capture the story, but you can't really bank some of these. I don't know. I've never been able to bank my my Mavic 2.
You know what? I got to tell you, Miss K, FPV, she does some beautiful flights, and it's to the music that she has. It has to be because it follows that line and whatever that story
Right,
is.
she does fly slow flow, Val. She does. Her version of her way of flying. When you see someone flying in a straight line, and like he said, you just slightly bank left and right, and you don't do as many flips. That's slow flow.
Okay, and let me tell you, if I could fly like her, I'd be happy.
Do you have a link so you
That
can share in the
is
chat?
so beautiful.
Well, I mean, it's like
lights.
It's like what you would see somebody flying a glider, the image you would get from somebody flying in a glider, and
It's
it gives you the impression that you're flying too. Cinematic drones don't give you the impression of being immersed into a flight. They give you beautiful, wonderful, altitude shots. But if you want that look like you're in the plane, I mean, let's face it, that's what they would be using, or they'd probably be using a plane or a real helicopter for these. What do they call those? Can't think of those theaters, IMAX theaters. Where they want you to feel like you're in the plane or or you are the bird. So
guys, can I introduce you to my sister real quick? So Novice Quads is I'm just going to tell you where I think he is.
I'm right here, man. Cut it out.
If I can get into the.
I was going to say, are you going to call Robert Stanton your sister?
Yes. Yes.
Robert.
He just shows up and you go, "You want to introduce your sister?" I'm thinking, man.
Paul Murray.
Hi, boy. How you doing?
Hi. Paul Murray is in the right-hand corner, but he's not there. He's a chair. Novice Quads is right next to him. He's the guy I say our New York guys. That's one of them. And then Curtis Dart's over here in Seattle. And then down below me is Philly Drone Life. He flies some beautiful cinematic stuff within Philadelphia. Mark is the one who got stopped at the border in search because he has pretty lips. Well, he's the one I flew with.
Here we go.
Sorry, Mark. And then Herman is Phantom Flight 101. He's also one of our New York guys, and we just adore Herman. Then we have Robert Stanton. He's from Middle America. I believe it's Wisconsin. Yeah. Yes. And he is a beautiful guy. And then there's Roger. And the guy I stayed at his house, and Kim Furball is also there. Yeah. He gave me the Phantom. Okay, guys, we can go on. I just wanted to introduce my sister. Everybody.
Val.
Yeah.
Where's the sister?
The Tish Sows. That's my sister.
That's the one we met on the last. She was when you were down visiting before you came to me.
Yeah.
Hi, Tish Sows. She's in the chat. We thought she was coming in the panel.
Yeah, I made it sound like she was coming on the panel. Why not? Bring her on.
Oh yeah.
Teresa, well, because she won't come on, I don't think. But Teresa, if you want to come on,
hey, Mark,
bring you on.
Mark, that's like asking two queen bees to be in the same hive. Val's not having it.
Oh, come on, Trish.
I tell you, I love my sister. We had so much pajamas. She's in pajamas. Yeah, it's a little late for her, but I appreciate it.
That's okay. Mike was showing us his matching underwear earlier. Come on.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Match the shirt.
Yeah. You're not showing my sister your underwear. Oh my gosh.
That only happens on those guys, not Val's life.
Okay, Val, I got to interrupt for a second. Poor Daywan thinks I actually got stopped at the border. It didn't happen.
Yeah, I said he doesn't have drugs.
No, nothing. Just watch the vlog. I have it on video that she admitted that I did not get stopped. So,
hey, Kim.
But what about that sound effect? That E thing.
That's just Val's.
That's when they dragged him out of the car.
That was a cavity search, I heard.
That was.
Well, that's what she claimed. No cavity searches.
And
I'm just happy we're still getting more mileage out of this. I thought we'd be done with it by now.
And Robert has VOV support group. That's Victim of Val support group.
Yeah. What about my support group?
You lost it. You left
that in Canada.
But anyway, I was gonna say when I was watching. I mean, Corey Mano, it was just exciting. And I know we have a lot of really great flyers, but to really get the complete thrill, you got to watch them. You got to go out and watch them, at least catch those videos because they are thrilling. They really are. I watched a couple. I watched Mark's flights with actually the goggles on, and I thought I would fall over, but I didn't. It was wonderful to watch. So
I have
Robert. How'd your day go yesterday?
You have to be a little off keister to comprehend FPV flying, Val, and I think you're there.
Yeah, Robert, how'd your day go yesterday?
It was very hot.
Yeah.
I was at EAA in Oshkosh yesterday.
Nice.
I had a blast. It was very warm, but I had a blast. I've got some footage if you guys want to see it. It's not.
Only 4 pieces.
I haven't cut it back yet, but.
Uh-oh. Mike
Was this Mike?
just pulled out a quad.
What you got there?
This is one of my builds, Mark. I did a. It's got all really high-end parts on it.
You can barely see it with the.
Yeah, I know.
Get the.
Listen, guys, really quick. I got to get out of here. My eyes are starting to burn.
Okay.
You guys are amazing.
Thank you guys for having me.
See you later, Lawrence.
Lawrence. Thank you again.
Lawrence. Good night, everyone. Later.
Okay, Mike. So what do you got there?
This was a 6-inch build I did with really high-end motors, Mark, and I forget the name of these, but I got a Rotor Riot camera in there.
Sure is purdy.
Yeah. Oh, but the VTX, the last time I went to go fly it, my picture was zipping in and out after a crash, and so it just got put aside along with the other 14 that for whatever one reason or another ain't working. So
you want to sell it?
No, I want to work on it.
What, you don't want to fly it?
I want to fly it.
Okay. I was waiting for you to say that. I wasn't sure. Working on it's one thing. Flying it's totally something else.
I want to fly it, dude. And then, what I did with this one.
Hey, Drone Kings.
So this guy, Mark, let me just show you. This one was bought, right? I bought the frame. Did you see that Batman drone that came out a while ago?
Well, Ed flies one, I think.
Right. Yeah. Well, I had one of them drones that I smashed into a million pieces. So
it's smooth.
Yes. So I took all the innards out and put it in this frame, and it worked great. Awesome. Yeah, it's got everything's the same, and I did have to replace one motor. So that's what's cool about FPV, man. It's just so awesome.
I will be in so much trouble if my wife is on camera. That's why I'm shutting it off when she walks through.
Okay. You're not allowed to be on because you've been on too much, huh?
No. She does not want to be on camera.
Oh.
So I have to shut the camera and the mic off while she goes and picks up our daughter, and then I'll have to shut it off when she comes back. And
I got that same wife, Curtis, same one.
No, you don't.
Me too.
You shut everything off. Can I walk by you? And then gets me. I'm like, yeah, you can walk by. I'm not walking by. I don't trust you. All right, she don't trust me.
It's easy to shut the camera off. I just want everybody to know what was going on, though.
So, guys, we have Drone Kings and Darwin on. Of course, we also have D1 Gray, my buddy. I'd love you, D1. We have Michael McReynolds. And let's see, of course, our guys on the panel and some other guys up on the top. We have Ed. We did have Night Train might still be in. Tish Sows, my girl, Builder 710.
Builder's an amazing guy.
Yeah.
Anybody know anything about Builder? I'm trying to find information on Builder. He's like a ghost.
He was blind.
He's blind?
I was saying hello to was blind. Swift Fox. I got to tell you something.
Yeah, he used to be blind, not anymore.
If people want to stay anonymous, I try to respect that because I know that some people really have this thing where they don't want people to know who they are. And I'm okay with that.
I know. He said he might be my next door neighbor. And I don't know. That's why I want to know now, because when he mentioned that, I went,
I see.
He said, how do you know you don't know me? And I said, I don't. So that's what's scaring me. I'm going to find you, Builder. I'm going to find you, and I'm going to get you.
Oh, my gosh. You're too funny.
Anyway. But I'm still pumped up from today, man. I am still pumped up. These
you should
guys, be. I can't believe I met those guys and Billy. I can't believe it. I can't believe I'm still pumped.
I think, if I was to meet, let me ask you guys a question.
If I met Roger, I wouldn't sleep for a week. I wouldn't sleep for a week.
Roger kissed me on both cheeks. It was
yeah. That's how I would feel. Kiss the ring, the whole bit.
It was really cool.
Kiss the ring.
It's the ring. That was good.
Kiss the ring, Balto.
To be able to sit in Roger's seat, that would be awesome.
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
I know. I saw. I was there. I was there when you did that.
Oh, but wait. I got to show this off again.
That's
They gave that to me on the way out the door. Kim said, "Just take the picture." I'm like, "Come on." He goes, "No, take it."
I wanted to take the dog, but he wouldn't take her. So
I would have loved to have taken her.
Roger.
I think would have had issues with that.
Roxy would have so gone. She was so happy with Mark.
You could have saved yourself $100
He's
a
a
week.
doll.
Hey, Drone Pool.
Now, I want to go back to the question. I don't want to belabor it, but I just want to make sure that question, hopefully everybody knows that, that's what I love about the community. We're all diverse. We all have different likes. We're all drone pilots, operators, whatever you want to call us.
Yeah.
And I hope nobody thinks that we're trying to make a division here between what is better, what is not. It's just a different tool for a different purpose. Like I said, for me, it was just selfishness. I like the adrenaline rush. Be damned with the video, as far as FPV goes. But, I just think that's what I like about it, because I've been able to do both, and I'd like to think I'm welcomed in both parts of the community.
You are, and that's what's so awesome about the community. And I agree with you, Mark. They're both tools that you need in your bag. When I go flying, I bring the Mavic Zoom and the Mavic Pro.
Yeah.
Now, if I was better with all the FPV, I may bring a 6-inch FPV with me as well and throw a cup. But I'm not so much of an editor as much as I am telling the story live.
Well, you're vlogging essentially as you're doing it, more or less.
I want people that can't fly or that just are boring or whatever. I want them to feel the excitement. So that's what I'm trying to get across. Now, you'd be surprised. You would think that I would do that better with FPV. Total opposite. When I'm flying FPV, I'm silent as a mouse.
Oh yeah.
Silent as a
absolutely
You're focused. Yeah.
Correct. 100% focused.
I think this whole conversation has been more about marrying the two than
agreed
than dividing them.
Yeah.
Because I was hearing a lot of like, oh well, you're either over here or you're on the dark side, and there's no mixture.
Well, I blame Val. She asked the question.
Each other.
Let's be honest.
I do believe that.
I blame Val. She asked the question.
Yeah, I asked it because I've been hearing it. You know me. I dip into the water wherever I see it.
Now, I in certain streams, I've actually referred to, and Michael, you might be able to attest to it, and I know Kim can. There is a slight difference between the culture of cinematic drones and FPV drones. There's definitely a culture built around the FPV drones.
Yes.
There's definitely a culture that is like right now. If I was truly part of the FPV community, I'd put on my knit hat. I look at them as a kind of a, I don't know. I don't want to say rogue, but they are the acro, the adrenaline junkies. I guess is a way,
Mark, that's the one thing though. I wish it turned me off a little bit, and I love Bach Reiner, by the way. I absolutely love him.
Mm-hmm.
As I started to watch him more, the whole marijuana thing, and it's legal in a lot of places, so I'm not putting it down, and I love it, guys. Trust me, I don't do it, but I'm not against it. But I think it doesn't set a good example, and that's the problem I started to have with it.
Yeah. I mean, when I say culture, I wasn't talking about that part of the culture. I know that there's that part of it.
That's a big part of it.
I know it's a big part of it, and there are different subcultures to it all. But like you look at Curtis mentioned before, Ladrib, he's made a vlogging culture out of FPV, and it isn't just about him flying. In fact, he's gotten complaints he doesn't do as much flying as anymore.
Yes, you're right.
So he's talking about the lifestyle. And again, it's just something, that you get into. And I like it. And, I don't subscribe to the subculture that Mike was referring to, but, it's just different. And I enjoy it, and I enjoy both. That's why I'm glad we're talking about this. So,
yeah, but I liked what Curtis said as well, too. It is really a marrying. It's not.
Yeah, it is. It should be.
Combining of the two. Awesome.
Yeah, I think it has to be a marriage of the two, because I think that at the end of the day, we're flyers.
Yeah.
And that's we're flyers.
Val, you said it, because the whole experience of that perspective of being in the air is just you can't get it from any other hobby. You can't. And that can be able to control that. You are that bird for whatever time your battery lasts. You're that thing, you know, and it's an amazing feeling. It really is. And then when you get together with other birds and you fly, it's just amazing. It's such a connection. And I love it. Today I couldn't even fly. I was so excited for just meeting other people.
What happened to Roger? I mean, not Roger. What happened to Paul?
He probably has a phone call.
Okay.
Yeah, he was mute for a while, and then he turned his video off.
But
Okay,
that
was fine. Those are interesting.
Herman, that's the one thing I would do differently if I met you guys again. I would actually fly this time. You know, when I got home, there were so many things I said, oh, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have taken video. Why didn't I do that? Oh my God. And I wish.
You know what, Mike?
Here.
Something tells me the next time I see you, it won't be any different than the first time.
You're probably right.
So guys, I have a question. So I'm gonna bring up the topic that was blind. She goes, have you all seen the guy that is like 10 to 15 videos of Epstein Island? I'm really surprised they have not shot him down. And then was blind from Al Diaz. Those are interesting. He is getting tons of hits, but it is an invasion of property and probably privacy, even though the dude should fry. And whatever it says, Al Diaz, right. He is looking in windows, following people around on the island. I wonder how many drones he has.
That sucks. He's going to kill us.
It gives us a bad name. It gives us a bad name.
So do you know who this guy is? Have you?
Who?
The guy who has 10
I haven't seen
videos of Epstein Island. I don't know. Was blind. Do you know the guy's name? Oh, what is Epstein Island, right?
I think he works on the island. That's what Al Diaz said.
Yeah, I don't like the looking in the windows. I mean, you're bound to see people when you're flying, but what the hell?
Epstein Island.
But you don't stop at the window and go, oh, what was that?
I will look him up. Okay, thank you, Was Blind. Was Blind will look him up. See, because right now it sounds like he's a perversion, but we don't know, right?
I'm so worried about that when I do the buildings in Center City and I go up and I get to the higher buildings, they got their windows open. And I mean, why not? They're on the 50th floor. Why not? And as I'm there with the drone, so many times I can't tell you, I zoom in and I'm looking in bathrooms and I start talking to myself, please, God, don't let somebody be in that bathroom, please, because I'm live. So a lot of times I'll unzoom and just get away.
Okay.
Just in case.
So guys, she posted one of his videos.
Oh.
So it's called Epstein Island, Epstein's Pedophile Island.
Oh, what an idiot.
So I don't know what this means.
Epstein's
you know what? I don't want to give him any watch time or any hits. So I'm
23,000 subscribers, guys. How about that? Isn't that nice? Just goes to show you what sells these days.
Who is it?
And look, he can't even fly. That's sad.
Yeah, it's not very smooth.
No, that's sad.
But this is Rusty Shackelford. It says drone over Jeffrey Epstein's. Oh, this is Jeffrey Epstein's, where Jeffrey Epstein was. So I'm not sure.
That's a shame.
Okay. I'm not sure what's going on.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So I don't want to spend too much time on that, but I will say that I do believe that when people do really stupid things and we see them, we should not be watching them for sure, because pedophile brought in the views just saying, yeah, that's his island. Okay. Yeah. That's some bad stuff. That's some bad stuff. But if you're flying drones and you are following people around and you're looking in windows, then shame on you. Shame on you.
Yeah.
You know, that's all I have to say about that. I wouldn't want to do that to somebody. So I don't know.
One thing I got to ask is, why hasn't YouTube shut him down?
Yeah.
if the drone is going to get shot down. Yeah, she hasn't got popped. Well, you know, he's on an island. Maybe it's different laws wherever that is or wherever he is. You know, I don't know.
But St. James is Caribbean, right?
I would think so. Yeah.
It looks like a DJI drone too.
It is.
You can't fly it, that's for sure.
No.
Yeah, you know, I gotta say, I think the guy is flying on that island because he wants to catch what was going on with the island since it was this guy's island.
Yeah.
That's why I think he worked on the island, referring to pilot. Yeah.
Why is it called Pedophile Island?
Well, I don't want to get political, but this is supposedly the island where Clinton was supposed to be at, Bill Clinton. I don't know if you guys heard about that whole conspiracy theory thing.
No.
No. Okay. So this is okay. Let's go back and let's not. Jeffrey Epstein is being charged with sex trafficking of young people. And the thing that made the news is he's been a friend of almost every president, including our recent one, the one right now. Because he has money, and money, people like people with money, but I don't know that everyone knew what he was doing. So he was being charged with sex trafficking and hasn't gone to court yet. So that's where we're at.
Okay.
So this guy's flying around this island. Is he trying to get evidence or something? Or
I don't know.
Dude, this
maybe
video,
see if there are young women there. Who the hell knows?
Well, that title alone, unfortunately, is clickbait for some pretty bad.
Oh yeah,
3,000 views. I've never got more than 1,000 views on any one of my freaking videos. And look at this. Look at this garbage.
Well, isn't the same guy that did the Girls Gone Wild thing?
No.
Hey, Michael, you got to remember YouTube.
So, but I don't know, Robert.
Quality.
What is it?
Say, wow, this is sad. Just the name.
I said, remember, YouTube is people watching YouTube. It's not about quality, unfortunately.
Yeah, you're right.
So you know, okay, so I'm gonna put that a little bit to the side because I didn't know someone was flying that island. I certainly wouldn't want to be flying that island. It's too creepy. It's all in the file name. Yeah, it is. It's all in the name. So
Yeah, it's
trying to
clickbait.
get something out of it, right?
You're right.
Yeah. Kim, you were gonna say something?
No. Barry G. RC.
Yeah. Hey, Barry G.
I guess I'm not okay. So I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I don't understand. It seems like he's looking for something. Maybe I'm not aware of the whole story here, and maybe I shouldn't be bringing this up. But it just seems to me from the video like he's looking for something in the video.
Yeah.
He's not trying to be cinematic or anything like that. It's not about flying style. It seems like he's trying to document something.
But why would you post it if you didn't find something?
Right.
You know, at that point, it's like, why are you posting it? If you didn't find anything. Yeah.
Well,
Hey, Wiki.
That's just it.
my answer to that was incorrect, but I take some photos sometimes that I think are absolutely stupid, but I post them anyway.
No, I know, but I mean, it's saying that if that is your purpose for that particular flight.
What you're right. And if you didn't find it,
island, you know. And then why not just edit it for something a bit more cinematic and cut out some of the herky jerky movements you're doing?
There we go.
I just looked up Epstein's Island, and it's the Pizzagate guy.
Pizzagate. Fill me in on that one, please.
The whole child sex trafficking thing. With
Yeah.
the Clintons.
That's okay.
So that's why they're calling it that. Okay.
It wasn't
with Trump and Clinton. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all of them. Let's just say that who knows who's involved is in court now. Well, I don't want to bring it up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, Robert.
Subject done.
Yeah. So well, that's kind of that dark side, right? That's kind of that side where people come into what we do and just decide they can do whatever they want.
Oh, that's the
Doesn't matter
TMZ
as long as
side.
they get people to watch.
It's the TMZ side of
Yeah, and it works because people watch it, and people watch TMZ. I don't like those guys that
They
just
certainly have more views than I have. Not
they
that
have
I'm
more
the.
views than me. See, that's the thing. So is it worth it? Should we all go and become this weird photography people so we can be like I don't know. It just wouldn't be worth it. I can't even think of a good word for it. You know,
Well, I mean, I think there's a certain amount of clickbait to everything that we do. For instance, I'm going to be creating a video. I'm going to be creating a video here pretty soon that is going to definitely be clickbait, and I'm not sure how I'm going to title it. Maybe you guys can help me. I'm going to be getting this underwater drone here pretty soon, and what I'm going to do is take my Phantom 4, put it on top of the water, fly straight up in the air, reverse the footage so that it looks like it's coming down into the water. I'll do a video effect with bubbles coming up so you can see a transition to where it goes on.
Call it bubbles.
Where it goes. Well, no, I'm going to say my drone can swim now or something stupid like that. But at the end of it, I'm going to put fake. And then I'm going to cut to the drone, the underwater drone kind of flying along. But I'm going to use a clickbait title to get people to watch that. Is that bad or is that good?
I don't think
no, I don't think it's bad.
Whereas something like this is a title that it's bad.
Yeah.
So just to say all clickbait titles are not necessarily bad is kind of my point.
No,
I don't think that's a
no.
It depends on the audience you're attracting, and that's what it sounds like he's attracting is the wrong audience.
Well,
bad audience, I should say.
He's attracting because everybody looks.
Okay, let me shut my camera off.
Everybody looks at those things and they want to see what's going to happen. And you see, sex trafficker cut. First thing you open it, then they connect it to everybody who's political so they can use that against each other. And then we watch it more. And I've just stopped because I've just decided it's a waste of my time.
Hey,
I'm not going to watch it. I haven't watched that stuff for years and years and years.
I got to get going, guys. I got the wife.
Oh, Philly, thank you.
Take
Tell
care,
Sharon
Mike.
I said, hey.
I will. I see you. So long, Kim and Herman. You are a freaking monster, Herman. I can't believe you're kicking.
I'll see you later, Mike. I'm going to get back out there, and we'll all meet up.
Yes, sir. And feel free to get my number from.
Yeah, I know it was blind.
Get my number from Lawrence. Text me, call me anytime you want. It's
all right.
Okay.
I think I have your number.
Later, Michael.
Text me anytime you want.
All right, man. Take it easy.
See you guys. So long,
Michael.
Bye, Philly.
See you, Robert. So long, Val. Thanks, guys.
Bye, darling.
Take care, Mike.
Meeting. See you guys. There I go.
Oh, I love watching people try to get out of these things. Like, where do I go?
It's so easy.
So let me go back to the better stuff, the stuff that we do well, instead of the stuff that other people do badly, right? So I know most of us are camera drones, right? That are in the stream right now. Not in the chat, but up on the panel. Well, I say that, but you've been flying some FPV, haven't you, Curtis, or have you not yet?
I've done FPV in the past. I mean, I didn't have a full idea of what I wanted to do with it. And the drone that I got, well, actually there was two, weren't the best quality. So I kind of equate it to this. I used to teach guitar. I worked at a music store, and a parent would come in and say, my kid wants to play the guitar. What's the cheapest thing you got? And I'd say, look, do you really want your kid to play guitar? I mean, and they're like, well, I want to make sure they're confident enough to continue. I go, well, if you give them a piece of crap, I didn't say that specifically. If you give them a piece of crap to learn on, they're not going to learn on it.
Nice.
They're going to put it down because it's too hard to play. The strings are too far away from the neck. It's physically demanding. Whereas if you give them something that's set up correctly and it's got a little bit of investment of quality to it, then they're going to stick with it, or they have a better chance of sticking with it. It doesn't guarantee that they'll still play, but if you give them a good quality tool, and that's what I needed, was a good quality tool. I made the mistake and bought the wrong stuff.
Right. That's why when they were talking about that 7-inch, more like toothpick Tyro, that would have been the wrong tool for me. I would have wasted my money, because even though it's cheaper than building a really decent quad, it's still money. I would have been sad. I would have been very sad. Of course, now I have to get my car fixed, so we'll see how that looks.
Well, thank you, Barry G, for agreeing with me.
Yeah.
Was blind. It's just a matter of anything else. It's just what I've always done with kids and with anybody else that I ever taught how to play was sit them down and say, what kind of music do you like? And instead of saying, you know, here's chord theory and here's all that stuff. I would teach them a few songs that they enjoyed. It's what my dad did for me. I mean, I was into Kiss at the time, and I had his big Gretsch country gentleman, Chad Atkins model guitar, and and he's listening to my songs that I like, Detroit Rock City, and he goes, well, okay, here's how you play it. And he'd show me how to play it, and I'd learn it. And then I'd learn Cold Gin and Rock and Roll All Night. Once I started learning that stuff, then it became interesting to like, okay, so what is this I'm actually doing? And once you get interested in the theory of it, then suddenly the world opens up for you. But you get hooked on it. You're like, I can sound like that song. I can pick it up and sound like that song. So that's kind of the way it works for me, my way of learning, getting in there and actually doing it, which is why I want to buy a pre-built quad so I don't have to worry about building it and going through the stressful process of, I say stressful, it's not really stressful, just the frustrating process of, oh, I did this wrong, or now I got to wait a week because I bought the wrong motor or whatever. I just want to buy it right out front. I want to buy 2 quads that are going to go, and I know I'm going to crash them. Once I crash them, I'll start fixing them. I'll start taking them apart, and I'll approach it from that angle. I hope that was helpful.
Yeah, I think it was. You know, I think that as we move further in this, people are looking at us, and I don't mean just us in particular, but to drone flyers to see what's acceptable and what's not.
Life sucks and then you fly. That's right, Wakey RC.
Yeah, yep. Wakey, I got to agree, but flying keeps our minds occupied. That's the truth.
That sounds like a t-shirt.
Yes, it does.
Who's going to capitalize on that?
Life sucks and then you fly FPV.
Yeah.
No, just fly in general.
Just fly.
I'm thinking about more and more every day, Mark.
Yeah.
Leave.
Did you get your transmitter yet?
No, I haven't got my transmitter
Okay,
yet.
talk to me when you get your transmitter.
What are you thinking about, Robert?
I want to get the same transmitter Mark had. Was that the RX-7?
The QX7, yeah.
QX7.
It's a good. It's good all around.
Oh, thank you, Phantom.
Some Velociraptor.
Was into a million pieces.
She didn't steal them all.
There you go.
What?
There's Kim's.
There we go.
Those props are coming in tomorrow.
Which one is that? That's your
yours.
one.
Again and again and again and again.
I have my Fly Sky and my QX.
Well, I got one of them too.
I got a couple different things.
Maybe I'll wait till the DJI FPV comes out.
Well, I'm curious about it. I'd like to see how they approach it.
I'm committed to buying it one way or another just to make a comparison.
I'm sure there's some FPV guys out there that are poo-pooing it, but I'm willing to see what it's got. You know, I'm curious.
Well, I'm going to tell you what. I'm sorry, Robert. Did you have?
Go ahead.
Okay. The thing that worries me about it is every time DJI gets in something, there's controversy surrounding it. When they got in, they're doing the regular drones, and all of a sudden they're sending information supposedly back to China. There's an investigation now with all the other stuff going on, and now they're going to get into our FPV drones. And so, to me, I think about that. I think, okay, so now what kind of regulation is going to occur because they don't want us in certain areas we shouldn't be in? Or are they afraid information from our FPV drones are going to go back to China? I don't know. I got to say, it bothers me that this has occurred with DJI or that they had the information. But I know it's not all them. Part of it's where they were building the quads. So there you go. That's my 5 cents.
That's an interesting thing, Val, because it would be funny that you have a FPV drone that has firmware updates and it can't take off here and it can't take off there.
Yeah.
See, I just looked at it completely from a dollar perspective.
Right.
I think that DJI puts out a quality product and it's going to cost. So how much is it going to be to repair and crash it? That's how I look at it. How's that going to work into it, and how they going to price it?
With this.
The law is you have to be 30 meters from a house, right? Or is it 100 for you guys?
For FPV?
No, for flying a drone.
In general.
Yeah, you don't fly over houses, people.
What's the distance by law? You have to be from them. 30 meters.
I think at least that, maybe more if you're flying over, and you can't stay over a house for any inordinate amount of time. Otherwise, it looks like you're spying on them.
You live in the city and you want the FPV and you want to dive an apartment building or a house or something or a factory or whatever, right? You can't get alert. Then you can't fly here because there's a house or factory or apartment building.
Well, I think being a big company, they're going to have to put safeguards in so they're not getting sued for things they don't.
Well, we're talking about weight limits here too, so let's back up on that. I don't think we're going to run into that with this new FPV drone. I think we're going to see a version of FPV drones that won't have anything to do other than maybe camera and quality control that the current DJI drones have. Now, this is strictly my opinion. I don't work for DJI. I don't know, but it seems to me that if a company like DJI is going to come along and get involved in FPV drones, the cinematic side of it would be the place that they would dive into, because the racing side of it is very, very cutting edge, and it's very, very, very small drones, very high powered motors. Whereas the cinematic side, it's more people who are interested in the hobby that are going to crash more often, replace parts more often. So there's like a continual revenue stream kind of going on there. Rotor Riot is a good example of some guys that started something. And they're basing everything they do off that store, even though not everything they sell in the store is theirs. They get something from somebody else and mark it up $10-20 and sell it on there. They're selling a lifestyle. So I just think DJI is trying to get into this, and I think what we're going to see is this slow flow or cinematic style FPV drone with a better quality camera than what GoPro is currently offering everybody.
Well, keep in mind, I mean, if like, for example, I know a 5-inch with a 5-inch quad with a high definition, without a high definition camera on it, is already over half a pound. It's actually over a pound. So they got to be talking about something significantly smaller, maybe Cinewhoop, like you said, much smaller, something like a 2-inch, if it's going to go under the weight limit and not have to worry about getting registered. So,
well, where did we come up with the idea that they don't want to be registered?
Well, that's it. I mean, if they're going to have to be registered, then they're going to have to follow the rules based on the company's perspective, I guess. So, I mean, so if the company's worried about following rules and regulations, then if they're selling a drone that's a 5-inch mini quad, let's say, then technically the pilots who buy them are supposed to get them registered, and then they got to follow the rules. And I don't know, does that mean they're going to have to put in all those controls, like where can you fly, when can you fly, because now you're falling into that category. If you're under the weight limit, it doesn't matter where the hell you fly, technically.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, technically.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to, I'd be hard pressed to ask the community who flies FPV how many. I'm not going to ask it. I don't want anybody to put it in the chat whether or not they register their quads or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's not put that in the chat.
So yeah, nobody answered that question, but that's the kind of thing that company has to think about.
That's a good point. I had not thought about that. That is a good point.
Hey guys, I forgot to bring this up, but if you don't mind, would you hit the like? If you're in here still and you don't mind doing it,
it's free. It's free right now. Later on,
don't have to. Yeah, I charge
money.
$0.25, but I'm not going to tonight. I hope we're finding value in this conversation.
Oh, definitely.
So, but I do think. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Herman.
It would also be hard to track because the quad's always changing parts, so it's never the same quad anymore.
Right.
There's always, you could end up with a Cat camera and then go to a Fox Air. So, the quad's always changing.
Morphing, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's,
but I mean, I think that's how these companies who do FPV kind of, I'm only speculating, kind of wash their hands of it because they're only selling the parts. Whoever's building it is ultimately responsible for it.
And I'm sure the FPV from Phantom, what do you call it? DJI is going to have a geofence.
Mm-hmm.
Love My Drones brings up a good point. You're not registering your drone; you're registering yourself.
Okay.
If you're a hobby guy.
So is a FPV pilot supposed to be registered? Is his drone supposed to be registered
if it's over a pound?
If it's over 0.55 pounds, I believe.
Do they?
No.
Over.
That's the question
Yeah,
we're not
it's a-
going to ask.
Right.
You're over 250 grams, you have to.
If it was a regular cinematic drone, and you had heard that somebody wasn't registering, everyone would be up in arms.
Mm-hmm. It's a different, like I said, it's a different realm of the drone community.
Yeah, I
But
think
it's
FPV
supposed
is
to
seen more
be
as a bit
registered.
of a rebel.
That's an excuse.
Any 4S bird will break the weight limit. Yeah, I love my drone say I'm registered. Thank you very much.
Well, you
Yes.
didn't have to answer that. I mean, the whole point was nobody. I mean, I'm sure there are people who don't register their quads that are cinematic drones because they don't feel like they need to.
Yeah.
Got mine registered.
As
got my
a
number on it.
107 pilot, I register every one of my drones.
Yeah, I think registering is important, especially if you're going to be flying places. And I just think it's a better idea. I'd rather you have them registered, especially if it's flying outside my window.
Mine's registered.
Isn't it 1.2 pounds or something like that, Wiki? For the Bebop 2, it weighs?
0.55, just over half a pound. It's supposed to be registered, or it has to follow the rules of a registered pilot.
Well, and I got to tell you, I think Ed's right. Anytime you put a big battery on this thing, you're going over half.
Yeah, you're going over half.
Oh, no doubt. 4S batteries are definitely over and above. I think my Baby Hawk, which had a 3S battery, was under that weight limit when all was said and done. But it couldn't carry a high definition camera on it unless you put one of the special integrated ones.
And it's limited to its use.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got to get my Phantom registered now and get that number on it. I have one of those tape things that does number stuff.
My battery weighs more than the bird.
It weighs more than the bird.
I can believe that.
The way you fly, Ed, you need the battery like that.
That's where most of the weight comes from.
So, guys, we are at the bewitching hour when the show's over. So, I want to tell you guys, thank you so much. I can tell people are a little tired. Most of us have had big days today. And so I want to thank everyone in the chat. Guys in the panel, just hold on a minute. So, Love My Drones, Wakey, D1 Gray, my friend. Was blind, my darling. Thank you for coming in. Destination Chronicles, Barry G. Let's see, Phantom Hodges.
Is your sister still in?
Al Diaz. No, she's in bed by now. She gets tired. So let's see, and she works tomorrow. Yeah. Let's see, Ed. Ed, I have to catch up on everything I've been seeing. Let's see. Okay, I'm missing a lot of people I know in the chat. I'm so sorry. Nomadic Bike, thank you. I loved everyone contributing to this conversation because I think it's one we need to have. On Tuesday, we'll have another one we need to have, hopefully.
Love My Drones. I'll check it here just as soon as we get off.
So put the same FFA number. All my drones.
Unless you're 107, then you have to put.
107, yeah.
Then you have to put it. You have to register. I'm sorry.
Slap that huge.
Yeah,
yes.
you think so? Well, let me
Thanks
help
for
you,
joining us.
darling.
Robert, we're
There
both
you
on the
go.
same page there.
Yeah.
Stay out of here. Yeah, I don't need that. Even if they were a legit channel, I wouldn't want that on. So, let's see. So I just appreciate, I know, quick Valhammer time. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I love it. Thank you for giving me that gift. Guys, I love you all. Thank you so much for coming in. And I'll see you all very soon, hopefully. I'll be on with Roger in the morning. I can't wait, Roger.
Bye, everybody.
Have a good night,
So,
folks.
Let me see if I can figure this part out. Hold on. Got to end.